She is a beautiful woman, but she is a witch. Her name is Ogechi. This is her neighbor, Obinna. Obinna was a new tenant in that compound where Ogechi was also a tenant. One day, Obinna saw what his eyes could not believe. He saw Ogechi moving into a tree and out of a tree at the middle of the compound. He started going closer to confirm what he saw. As he was approaching, he saw Ogechi returning back into the tree, which seems as if she was making a journey through the tree. He couldn't believe it, then he ran away. That was his first encounter. The second encounter was the next day when he was about to make fire. As soon as he lighted the fire and was about to set the dirt on fire, Ogechi saw him and blew the fire off. Obinna did not know what was going on. Then he tried to put on the fire again, but as soon as he moved his hands close to the dirt to set it on fire, Ogechi blew off the fire again. Obinna got tired of the whole thing. He got up and moved inside. Immediately he left. Ogechi blew again on the dirt, but this time she blew fire on it and fire started. Almost at the same time, Obinna came out and was surprised to see the dirt on fire. Obinna stood there wondering what happened. As he was still standing there wondering, Ogechi did another wonder. She snapped her finger and the light went off. The whole dirt returned back to normal without any trace of fire on it. Obinna got scared. Ogechi stood up from her seat and left at once. That was when Obinna noticed she could be the one responsible for that scary show that he never asked for. As soon as she left, Obinna turned back and ran away. This is Obinna with a prepared charm in his hand. We saw him moving to Ogechi's frontage. On getting to her frontage, he poured the charm prepared with sand into his palm and started spreading it all over the place. That was to weaken Ogechi and destroy her powers. But Ogechi saw him from a corner. Immediately Ogechi peeped. Obinna saw her and ran away. Ogechi came out, moving towards Obinna in anger, but all was in her dream. When she woke up from that dream, she knew that Obinna was about to come after her and she must do something immediately. She stood up and started casting spell by using her leg to draw line on the ground to demarcate her side from Obinna's side. After drawing the line on the ground, she started making a declaration that if Obinna crosses the line, he will be hurt. After that, she left. Now in a real life, we saw Obinna coming back from where he went to. He came back carrying the same sand he was carrying in Ogechi's dream, about to do the same thing he did in the dream. He poured the sand in his palm and proceeded to spread it at Ogechi's frontage, but he was unlucky because Ogechi is prepared waiting for him. As soon as he stepped on that line Ogechi drew on the ground, the spell caught him. He got shocked and got weakened and fell down. At the same time, Ogechi, who has been hiding waiting for him to come, came out from the corner just like in the dream. Let's see what happened. This is Obara. Obara is Obinna's elder brother. He came to look after Obinna because he was sick. When Obara saw Obinna's condition, he became disturbed. He came out of the frontage, pacing around, not knowing what to do. He put his hands on his head, thinking like a man because he must do something to help his brother get well again. Ogechi was seated at her corner looking at him. Already she knew what was bothering him. She waved at him to come. Obara responded by moving close to her. On getting close to Ogechi, she offered to help him cure his brother, but on one condition. On the condition that they will become friends if she cures his brother. Out of frustration and not knowing what to do, Obara accepted to become her boyfriend if she would help to cure his brother. On hearing that, she became happy. She brought out a healing charm from her bag and gave it to Obara. She told him to touch his brother with the stone, that once he touches his brother with it, he will become well again and all his pains will disappear. Obinna finally became okay, but there was a problem. He was asking his brother to tell him what he did that gave him instant healing, but Obara refused to tell him what happened. Obinna insisted, but Obara refused. Next, we saw Obara and Ogechi together. Their friendship has started. They were seated by the wall, talking happily like friends when Obinna intervened. Obinna rushed in and expressed his anger on seeing his brother and Ogechi seated together talking. Next thing he did was to drag Opara away. Ogechi stood up in anger. Ogechi said that she had an agreement with Opara that Opara belongs to her. She rushed to them and dragged Opara away from Obinna. She took Opara to her own corner and beckoned on Obinna to come over if he is man enough. Obinna rushed in anger to fight back, but on getting to the line Ogechi drew to demarcate his corner and her corner, Obinna stopped. He stopped there, knowing fully well that if he crosses the line, that his problem will start again. Look at Opara. Opara could not utter a word, and it was clear that Ogechi has bewitched him, while Obinna stood there, ranting and assuring Ogechi that her plans will not work. We saw Ogechi moving out of her own corner, heading towards Obinna's frontage with her charm in her hand. On getting to Obinna's frontage, she brought out the white substance and started whispering on it, making enchantment. After that, she started sprinkling the white substance all over Obinna's frontage. As she was busy doing that without the fear of anyone seeing her, Obinna came out to question her. Ogechi did not say a word to Obinna. Rather, she stared at him for a while and turned away, doing what she was doing. Obinna brought out his phone immediately to call the landlord. Obinna called the landlord and started explaining to him what he has been going through in the compound. But after that, he got the greatest shock of his life from the landlord, who told him that his apartment now belonged to Ogechi. Obinna was not able to renew his rent because of hardship, which was so clear that Ogechi was responsible for his poverty. Because he was not able to renew the rent at when due, Ogechi went to the landlord and renewed his rent and took over his apartment. Finally, the landlord told Obinna to beg Ogechi to give him more time to pack out of the apartment and drop the call. At this point, Obinna has no option than to beg Ogechi. He went to Ogechi to beg her. He knelt down begging Ogechi, but she told him that she gave him 24 hours to leave the compound or else he will see the other side of her. After that, she left. Obinna remained there on his knees, totally stranded. He has no option than to leave. The next day, we saw Obinna with his bag leaving the compound. At the same time, Ogechi came out and told him that she gave him 2 days to come and pack all his belongings out of the house. After the warning, she ordered him to leave immediately. On his way out, he stopped by his brother who was seated under a tree and looked at him. It was so clear to Obinna that his brother was under a spell and there was nothing he could do at that moment. He left. Ogechi started displaying her wicked character. Look at what a full-blown man is going through. She slapped him on his head and pointed towards the door for him to go inside. Opara nodded his head in agreement and foolishly moved inside. Ogechi followed him behind. Now listen, this is how some people fight their battles. Some of you fight the witches with your physical strength, forgetting that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. Look at him, Obinna, ranting and shouting on his way to fight Ogechi in order to release his brother. Let's see if he will succeed. I will say that this is foolishness, but let's continue. After defeating Obinna, Ogechi dragged Opara inside. Obinna had an encounter, and his case was exactly like when God told Moses, I will have mercy upon whom I have mercy, and I will have compassion upon whom I have compassion. Obinna was visited in his own image by the Spirit of the Lord. After this encounter, he woke up, and when he woke up, he caught something. Look at Opara sweeping Ogechi's compound. This is exactly what it means when people say that a man has been turned to vegetable. Opara has been turned to vegetable by Ogechi using her witchcraft spell. As he was sweeping, Ogechi was following him and ordering him to sweep the compound properly. She was with a stick as if she was commanding a cow, but little did she know that power was about to change hand. Follow me, let us enjoy this battle. Just right after Ogechi disappeared, Obinna turned to Obara, his brother, and delivered him from the spell, from Ogechi's spell, using the holy water. Now, I want you to help me to share this video so that someone will learn from this story. Share this video and follow this page, because tomorrow I will bring you another interesting story. Share this video and don't forget, this is House of the Suns Global. Bye for now.
House of the Suns Global.